Now we're live. He's just like a little baby frog.
I'm auditioning for the Budweiser commercial. They're bringing it back.
Budweiser.
Welcome to 172, 2 of Crippled System.
Like a minute ago.
I was watching a video on the internet. I don't know what's going on.
This is 25% of your hosting staff. Brian.
I'm Brian.
Oh, I'm Amanda.
And I'm Andy.
Woohoo! We killed Nathan. He's dead.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh yeah, I probably should. I'm so used to sitting like I move it closer to me.
You have to get it closer
I
and then
know.
hover over it. And...
No, I can sit back as long as it's really close to my face.
So I'm waving at our chat, and because we have this other monitor with the chat on, and I
Yeah.
assume Tort. When I wave at Tort, I just assume in my head Tort's waving back at the camera. That's just what I always assume. That's just a little tidbit of information I wanted to share. Yeah, you wave at Tort, he waves back. That's what he does.
Exactly. Yep.
Science.
He doesn't know.
It would be. I could
Does he
set up.
wave in the opposite direction?
Yeah, it's upside down actually.
I could set up a Skype group.
A little
on
Skype
the-
camera just
another laptop of just so we could actually see them if they Skype in.
nice.
Well, that would be adorable.
It would be kind of funny.
Just for Tort though.
We
for
would
Tort.
just get somebody like meat spinning the whole time though.
Yeah, that'd be bad.
Yeah.
I would not want
Nathan
that.
would just call in that way just so he could do that.
Maybe that's
The
what he's doing right now.
unsolicited
He's just
dick
meat spinning
pics.
on chat roulette.
I think he went to Virginia to hang out with his family.
Yeah, I
Some
saw
sort
he
of
was playing a
GameCon.
bunch of historicals or something.
Yeah.
Dirty historical players.
Yeah.
They're terrible.
Yeah.
His whole family's there, so it's like, I don't know what's going on.
I had once heard that there was in the early days of wargaming, they actually loaded the cannons that they used as miniatures and shot them at their opponent's models, and that's how they would remove them.
I remember. Was it Peter Culling? Peter Cushing was the Grand Moff Tarkin in Star Wars. He played a lot of miniature war games.
All
As
right,
well.
I was wondering where you were going with that one.
Yeah, I just heard Grand, and I was like, the wizard.
Grand Moff Tarkin, come on!
I'm just
Star
not a
Wars.
Star Wars geek.
I just want to grab your food and eat it.
Unfortunately, we went out to get food, and then we spent like 20 minutes waiting at Culver's,
Yeah.
and then I had to set up the rest of the podcast and trying to be on time. I could not eat my food, but it's right here. It is a delicious 2-piece cod dinner from Culver's.
It's very, very good.
The Midwestern experience.
It is.
They-
Boom.
Where they cook your burger in butter.
Yep.
And that's your selling point. Do we have announcements? We do. There's things
There's
coming
a
up.
lot of tournaments coming
There
up.
are back-to-back weekends of events in Madison, the 17th and 24th.
I think the 24th, though, isn't that a Waukesha one?
Oh,
No,
one- yeah,
17th,
one's- yeah,
17th
one's-
is Waukesha.
Yes.
17 Waukesha.
I counted as a Madison event because we're going to have like 84 Madison players there. So
Exactly,
it's basically
I know
a
that.
Madison event.
I know that.
We'll all scrub out this. We'll all kick some Milwaukee persons butt at round one. Then from rounds 2 on, it'll just be Madison players. So,
Yeah, just Madison players. Once we thin out the scrub tub,
yeah.
we will just kick each other in the dick.
We should
until
go there
find
and
out.
McBain pain train it again. That was the worst tournament ever. Is McBain pain train. The day that McBain came out in Mark II, all the Madison players all took McBain to the tournament. So there was like 6 of us. Or no, it wasn't 6 or 7 of us. And
18.
yeah, 18 of us went to Milwaukee, and all the second round was McBain versus McBain,
That's pretty good.
and that was
That's when we realized the flaw in our plan.
yeah, that was the worst tournament ever.
It was until that moment, like, oh.
First round was like, yeah, so we all won, and we're like, oh no.
On our chat, PG_SL77Y says hi.
It is going well.
I thought it
How's
said
it-
Scotty at first.
How's it going?
How's it
guys?
going? I was
He says-
summarizing. I was quick.
Isn't
think
that
it's supposed to be Scotty.
leap for
It's a-
Scully?
Scotty.
It's a T.
It's leap for Scully.
It's a
Scully.
T,
That's
Brian.
PG Scully.
Scotty doesn't know. That's
Brian
the key.
doesn't know.
I know everything.
Scotty Doesn't Know is a great song, and a great movie.
Well, the movie.
Or it's in a movie.
Yeah.
I wish that was a movie.
It's just
Anyhow,
So yeah, we have
Euro
that
trip,
the
isn't it?
Waukesha, Madison, then
there's probably a week before that. There's probably a Chicago. The second Saturday of every month is always a Chicago tournament, which makes it convenient to always know. Is it the second Saturday? If yes, there's a tournament. You should be at Chicago.
yeah, then in October is another Madison event. It's the 100-point deal.
100 points.
That'll be pretty legit. I have some cool lists floating around with that. And then that leads us into War Machine Weekend and Gamehole Con.
War Machine Weekend.
In December, Who's the Boss?
Yeah,
Charity event. And also there will be this just kind of came up very recently. There's going to be a Who's the Boss in Indianapolis that I'm going to be running.
What day are you running that, Andy?
That is September 24th, the day I'm supposed to be running an event here in Madison. But
How have you rectified that issue?
I convinced Brian to run it.
Yeah, you made me your bitch.
Yeah.
I told him no. That's how I roll now. I'm
Is
like,
that
"No."
how it went? It went for you. He's like, list of Brian's I can
Yeah,
fuck
you're the
over.
last. Yeah, he's like, yeah.
Just like, I've been deep in the Legion Dojo building lists. I'm like, I can't wait for the Madison event so I can try these lists out.
Yeah.
It's going to be so fun. And then Andy's like, guess what, Brian? Get fucked.
I missed last week's or 2 weeks ago event, so I'm still sad about that. So
I missed that one as well. I fucked up my leg somehow by just existing, and in doing so, I had to learn how to use a cane for the first time because I can't walk without it right now. It's bad. So I was maneuvering around in my apartment, and I was trying to get between my bookshelf and the dining room table, and decided to lead with my good leg and the cane at the same time, which I guess is just not how you do it. And I put the cane down on my middle toe, and then I didn't really feel it at that point. So then I put all my weight on it, and I think I broke my middle toe on my good leg. So now it just like kind of flops around a little bit, and I can't feel it sometimes. So, and it's black.
as you get older, you'll just things start failing. It's great.
That's the thing is that
age is wonderful.
On the 12th, I turned 33, and then my knee. I'm like, oh no, now I have to get knee surgery. I know I'll need a prostate exam soon and a colonoscopy.
They're really enjoyable.
That's at 40.
You'll
be
feel
fine.
some pressure.
Yeah, I know. Turn your head and cough. I did actually have a prostate exam when I was 20 years old. They thought I had a problem, but I think my doctor was
I had a
creepy.
colonoscopy when in my 20s because I had a problem. It was enjoyable. Here, drink this. Now let's put this.
Let's go.
Well, there is a 12-foot tube and then there's a 40-foot tube. I only had the 12-foot tube. The 40-foot tube, they kind of give you a lot more drugs and knock you out. That's what I prefer. I'm like, if I'm unconscious, I don't care.
Yeah.
The 12-foot, they say the phrase, you're gonna feel a little pressure.
It's not a little pressure. It's
Press-
like they're just snaking your entire body.
Pressure is not a word you should hear, and it means severe pain.
Especially when you're half naked and bent over on a table.
And the
And they're all,
doctor's
and the doctor's whistling for some reason. You don't know why.
doctor's looking at the monitor, and suddenly it just kind of comes from black, and then just sees his face.
Yeah.
And like just goes through the whole system.
You look at the camera, I feel like watching Inner Space. I'm just going to see a little ship flying around in there.
You see Dennis Quaid inside of you.
Yeah, like, why is he there? That's where he's been all these years. I just seen a
Playing that
movie.
music.
Yeah.
Oh man,
Dun, dun, dun.
Inner Space, awesome. Can you imagine if that movie starred Randy Quaid instead of Dennis Quaid?
When you get into those like brother actor combos, you can always figure like the good one and the bad one right away. Like God took Laurent Belushi, and I really don't know if I think Randy Quaid's probably the better brother in all actuality.
What?
Yeah,
Randy Quaid's better than Dennis Quaid.
I think so. He's a little crazy. Walks around in like
He is a little crazy.
I mean, his in National Lampoons, that was like the pinnacle of his career, right?
well, that's where he peaked there, and of course Independence Day, where he starred in film. He was a starring role.
Dennis Quaid is also the second best depiction
Of Harrison Ford.
Of Harrison Ford, yes. No, he's the second best depiction of Doc Holliday.
Yeah, I did like Val Kilmer a lot more though.
That's why I said second best.
Okay, because I thought there were only two other than like A&E daytime specials.
Well, it's pretty much there are two choices.
No, I mean, personally, I actually do like Dennis Quaid's version more. It brought up some hatred on the
Hey,
on the chat.
you're just trying to be cool and be like that's your hipster approach.
No,
I
mean,
like.
no, whatever.
Meh. Meh.
So do you think it would be like, I think Val Kilmer plus Kurt Russell was perfect.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think if it was Kevin Costner it would have been better?
You mean Val Kilmer with Kevin Costner?
Yeah.
No, because Kevin Costner is.
He doesn't play off him very well.
Morgan Freeman should have played Doc Holliday. They could have done like the Robin Hood. Those two should have started. They should have got a whole buddy cop kind of vibe going for all the movies together.
Storyline wise, I liked how Wyatt Earp progressed.
Mm-hmm.
better than Tombstone. Tombstone was more of it's an action film basically, and Wyatt Earp feels more of like a standard western.
Well, when Kurt Russell's your star actor, you gotta throw some action in there.
Yeah, like I said, I think I like Dennis Quaid just a little bit more. Just
I mean, you're okay to be wrong. It's fine.
Keanu Reeves' Doc Holliday is what someone suggested in the thread. And by
Whoa.
someone, I mean Tort. Boom. So those are the announcements.
Yep, those are the announcements. So, recently I played in a tournament in lacrosse at their Cooley convention. They had right now it's still a small convention. It's got bigger though since they moved from the school campus to...
Anytime Brian is talking, I'm super checked out.
Exactly. That's it. That's all I have. If I ever want some time to myself, just like, I'm going to go paint for a while, I will talk to Amanda for 5 minutes and then I'm clear. I can just leave. Like, I can back out and just, like, I'll hear her in the living room going, yeah, that's cool. And I'm just like, yep, just painting away.
It sounds like a healthy relationship.
It is a very healthy relationship. We were very independent. So, when I need food, she makes it. And when the bathroom is dirty, she cleans it.
Wow.
That is inaccurate.
Wow.
That is incredibly inaccurate.
It is.
I
because
really
they're-
need to clean my
they're dirty
bathroom.
as fuck.
That's why it's inaccurate.
Yep. Someday, maybe. I'll have clean underwear.
Brian's
I
gonna
did all the
have
laundry.
Brian's gonna have 2 broken kneecaps by the end of the podcast.
He's not going to make it home tonight.
Yep.
He technically fell down the steps.
I almost
His
did.
second podcast in a row, we've talked about people falling downstairs.
I know, we're just it's domestic abuse galore, but I'll talk about it, okay? I'll rat you out. But at any rate,
It's just gonna make it worse. Seriously,
it's fine. I don't think she could take me. I honestly
with
think.
your gimp leg.
even
just
with my gimp leg, all I have to do is hold her head back and she can't reach me.
Yeah, grab the cane.
I
and
will,
grab
we'll
it.
just give her weapons. I mean,
I don't think she'd be used to it unless that weapon was a feather duster.
Jesus Christ.
I mean, we already discussed that I don't clean the bathroom.
I know.
I have
Well,
no
you
idea
used-
what a feather duster
You
is.
used a Swiffer once.
Exactly.
Yeah, but that was in the bedroom. A completely different situation.
So I use the
She
Swiffer
told me.
instead of the
She
feather
told me.
duster
She
in the
told me I'd
bedroom.
feel a little pressure. Oh man, I brought Legion to an event in lacrosse, and
Power through.
yep, took third on strength of schedule. I played Lilith 3 and Thagrosh 2. It was a pretty good time. Ethan came with me and took first with Baldur 2 and Tanith, but he only played Baldur 2 the whole event. The lacrosse meta's they're starting to like solidify themselves a lot better. They've got a pretty good host of players. Unfortunately, they only had 6 show up for the event from their side, but it was still a pretty good deal. Round 1, I played into Siege and just shut him out on scenario with Lilith 3. And round 2, I played into Ethan, and he took it on scenario, but I was at 3 points, so it was a close game. And round 3, I played into a fella named Phil. He was playing Legion. We had a terrible table with 3 obstructions in the middle, and both played melee-centric armies. He dropped Saren. I dropped Thagrosh too. And we both had double Hellmouths, so that was super entertaining. Like, Hellmouth Tentacles were charging Hellmouth Tentacles, and Deathstalkers were just like, your shit sucks this game. I ended up pulling that one out. He did clock himself, but I had went up to 5 control points or 4 control points by the time it was done. But he did something really neat, and he works at a archery store, and they do a lot of custom paint jobs, and I assume a lot of the dipping techniques that they use that you see these days. He was getting access to all of this like pearlescent paint, and was painting it looked like his Legion looked like Geiger went on an acid trip. Like, it was very metallic and colorful and super awesome. Probably like the best utilization of those paints I had ever seen. So I just wanted to give him a quick shout out for having some really legit looking Legion.
You took some pictures?
I'll get them next time I'm there, promise. But either that or I'll message him and tell him to send me some pictures because we're friends on Facebook now.
Boom.
Yeah,
Facebook
It's
friends.
official.
Official.
I love going to an event or a tournament or wherever, and you get like 5 or 6 friends, and then like a week later, you're like, well, wait a minute, 2 of them are racist, so I'll get rid of those 2. That one there's a pretty. And you keep like 20% of those people, but it happens.
It's the ones that you find that make barbecue for you after War Machine events.
Yeah.
Those are the keepers.
Those are the ones, yeah, exactly.
I love you, Patrick.
Wasn't that before a War Machine event?
It was, but we were
So you're
connected
you're
at the
messing
soul.
your story up.
No, I'm making it better for people who are listening.
He's Jeremy. He's playing a Jeremy for the story.
I just had to make it interesting for people.
Yeah.
Those ribs were pretty good.
Yeah, they were pretty legit. That was the lacrosse event. I walked away with one of the cool new medals that Privateer Press released. They're quite legit.
Oh, the actual trophies?
Yeah, the new trophy in air quotes.
Oh, wow.
The
Okay.
They're just the.
You didn't tell any.
You didn't tell any of us to go. I would have gone.
See, that's how you do.
Fuck all you guys.
That's how I would have done it. There's a cool event, a small turnout with the cool prizes. Tell everyone after the fact. That's how I would want.
Hey, they had that information available, and all you needed to do was be tapped in like me.
Yeah.
I did have 3 other people from Baraboo interested in going, but it all fell to shit at the end of it. So I think the big problem was you needed to be, for me in SOC, and Madison people will have the same thing. You needed to be up by 5:30.
Yeah,
and out because it's a pretty decent drive. And I got super lucky when I parked there. The lacrosse convention center that they have connected to the hotel there isn't very large, but it spans across their like old downtown area, so parking is really a big pain in the ass. I got lucky and parked towards the back of the building, and the store owner who was running the tournament that we were playing in showed up at the same time, so he just like let me in through the service entrance, and I was able to get right in, and I could have just like bypassed the entire registration process, but I decided to not be a dick.
Well, aren't you nice?
I'm a very stand-up gamer
Boom.
person.
My goal is.
You're very
Bastards.
sit down right now.
And he's mad at his green beans.
I am mad at my green beans. I told no onions.
Oh.
Who puts?
They're
Maybe
like
I
the
just don't
French
like.
onions, right? The weird.
Maybe I just don't.
crispy
I don't like
things.
enough
Oh, I
vegetables
can't
to know
eat.
that onions and green beans go together.
Yeah, they're horrible.
So my plan this weekend was ruined by both Brian and John. Is today I want to learn Guild Ball today. And you're like, oh,
Yep.
my knee broke, and John's like, I'm lazy.
No,
John was at a bridal
John
party.
didn't. No, John wasn't at the bridal party. He didn't want to go to it.
Oh.
So that's why Casey was like, "You can't do this because you said you're not going to the bridal shower." And this is the conversation I'm just inventing in my head. And, and John's like, "Woman, get me a beer. I'm staying home." And then Casey left, slashed his tires so he couldn't go anywhere. And that's what really happened.
Gotcha. That
So
could be.
I was really close, but then I also realized I'd have to pack up my models too. So I promise you I will play Guild Ball against
Well,
you.
no,
this week.
I'll just throw it all away. Evidently,
That's fine. I mean,
but no, I'm intrigued by it. I figured I had a very lazy weekend, so it all worked out.
it is a pretty good game, and it seems like a lot of big War Machine players or well-renowned War Machine players are kind of going balls deep into it. So I mean, I think I've been playing on and off for 6 months now or something like that. So
Roughly, yeah.
yeah, so it's a good game. It's just
Cool.
that the thing that sucks is at Pegasus they seem to have some game or mix of games going on every fucking night of the week. So that I was like, I want to do Guild Ball at Pegasus, and they told me, well, you've got like a 4-hour window on Sunday afternoon. I'm like, well, that's fucking cool.
You might be able to do something. Well, I actually ordered the 2D train from Broken Egg,
Yeah.
but I also ordered some other stuff that's going to be shipped soon. So I ordered that a month ago, but I haven't got it because it was part of my pre-order for some other crap. So I'm sort of waiting for it. But then I'll have some train to throw it on as well to play with it.
Yeah, that'd be legit. I still haven't fully graduated to the point where I completely am playing with terrain all the time. I'm still kind of in that newbie zone where I just play with open table.
I'd
which
probably
is-
just start with train off the bat just because I'm so used to it. It'd be weird
sounds
for me
better.
It sounds like it'd be weird for me to play a game without train. But I mean, I'll probably get my butt kicked for a while at it when I want to start playing it, so I'm not too worried.
Well, and I'm maining butchers now. Like I got rid of all the other factions because I didn't have the time to devote to War Machine and
Yeah.
4 different factions for Guild Ball. So I just play butchers now, and no terrain for butchers is perfectly fine. They just get to run in charge wherever they
Yeah.
want to, and it doesn't matter.
Well, and someone who's playing the hunters, I think terrain's important for the hunters.
Exactly, because you make summon can shut down parts of the table. Like, hunters are really... They play a really interesting game, and I think like that's one of a good testament to Steamforged and how they approach game design is that when we heard of a new guild coming out, I thought it was going to kind of be like rewashed stuff from the other ones, but hunters do some really unique and interesting things, and farmers will be out next, and it's from the looks of the con model, the Tater, the pre-release. Andy has died. I think it's from Guild Ball. But
It's just from listening to Brian talk forever.
No, it was
He won't stop.
It's just,
I have
it's
like
really funny because he was just, like, the comment reads, he was making fun of me, but he totally tuned out while Brian was talking. I think it's the tone of his voice.
Yeah.
It's just, like, so, it's just, I mean, it's obviously
that's
not
how
like...
I lulled you into dating me. Was I just
Yeah,
I
like,
talk at a
put me
level
to
where I'm able to
sleep.
put women to sleep, and then that's how I just creep on them.
that's
I just,
you got that voice of the first period high school teacher that everyone loves,
Yeah, 'cause
or
you're
actually
sitting in
everyone
class.
hates because they're like,
yeah, but at least I won't call. Oh no, never mind. I'll probably tie your shoes to your desk. I actually had that happen to me once in high school. I passed out one day because I was up super late at night playing Diablo fucking 2. And my teacher did tie my shoes to my desk. It was very awkward. The only thing worse than falling down in school, in high school, is falling down as a fat guy, because it's always attributed to your bumbly fatness and not the fact that some asshole teacher decided to anchor me to my fucking chair.
I would have did it too. Anybody would have been awesome.
Evidently, Tort is sad because he missed the ladies' podcast
Yeah.
today because he was rescuing a possum.
Maybe
I'm not sure if that's a
missed the
euphemism.
good podcast.
Yeah, I'm not sure what exactly he means by he means like a literal possum, or if that's a code for like something he did. And I didn't think Australia had possums.
I don't know. Maybe they just die the same way. Like possum, it isn't like a animal that is beneficial to us, I guess. I mean, like the only time I see a possum is when it's fucking with somebody's trash or it's dead.
Unless
Like
it's William,
they exist.
if it's not William Shatner, I'm not impressed with it.
They exist to die. I think that's.
Yeah, William Shatner as a possum is amazing.
I haven't seen that.
Well, you
You,
should.
you haven't seen Over the Hedge?
No, I watch adult movies.
The
The
movie-
ones,
like
ones.
Zootopia.
No, like
Isn't that the furry movie? Zootopia. Isn't that the furry movie?
I don't know what you mean by that.
You are
I've seen
you are
Zootopia.
an innocent man.
But I mean, I know what furries are. I know what Zootopia is. I don't understand. I got those two don't go together. I am innocent. It's a character flaw. How are you, Amanda?
Oh, I'm just peachy.
That's wonderful. Entertain us until he stops talking.
I don't know what I'm supposed
There's-
to talk about.
There's
I'm so
well, you
talked
can
out.
talk
I was
about
just
how
on
you
like.
decided to ditch one of
Oh.
your friends'
talking to
tournaments
Brian.
that they ran. So
Well, yeah, Megan is upset because I didn't go to the lacrosse
yeah,
tournament.
she's
but
fuming. She actually wants. She hates you.
I am the kind of person who cannot wake up at 5:30 in the morning, no matter what is my reasoning for doing so. If it's 5:30, it doesn't exist in my book. But I don't really have a whole lot of War Machine stuff going on. I've got a bunch of Signar that is sitting unpainted because I can't figure out how I'm painting them. I was gonna go with pink, and then I started putting pink on, and I don't like it. And then I was gonna go with when I was still playing 40K, and I had all of my Tau, I was gonna do the black white with the blood orange kind of accent
Sure.
color, and I was thinking about that, and it just doesn't look as good on the Signar. And so I'm just sitting here like, look at all of these precious models that are built and primed and not going anywhere.
You want to only play with the painted stuff? Is that
No, I just
Don't have
want
any.
to paint them.
gotcha? I think pink is amazingly hard. I only though with Josh from Iowa had a really good painted pink red army, but pink in general seems to be atrociously hard. It's almost like white. Trying to paint something white and pink, like those.
I'm
those
not worried about like getting the paint on and having the paint look nice. I'm
Yep,
worried
she
about
very much isn't worried about it.
All right,
because
fair.
it's not her problem.
yes. Brian does all of like the base coats and stuff.
Gotcha.
Because I'll just destroy the airbrush. But I'm not worried about like how the paint goes on. I'm worried about like the colors and the way they look together with so many of the like this model is metal and this model has clothing and how do I make it all come together. And it was very easy when I was playing Convergence because everything was the same color with some glow on it. And now I'm just like, the fuck am I doing here? There are way too many details for me.
Ways to get out around that though is washes and that too. That helps out so much with details. But yeah, I know what you mean. But I've been trying to think of how I'm going to paint my cephalics for a while now. And as soon as I get my bases for them, I'm going to make it happen. Exelon is going to get painted.
Oh my god, the world's gonna blow up.
So Exelon, who is my friend on Facebook, I found out that I'm his only friend on Facebook.
Oh.
Yeah. Somebody made him as a joke account and liked or asked to be friends with me, only to berate me about not painting him.
So I see you've got your own like Don Jamaris troll going on.
Correct. But it was Exelon Thexus, and I realized that it was about 2 years ago that account was created because Facebook posted a memory. It says, "You become friends with Exelon Thexus," and I'm like, "Oh yeah."
Don Jamaris confused me at first because I don't listen. I don't listen to any podcast, but I don't listen to music enough to realize that was like ongoing gimmicks they had going.
Yeah, well, since just with the nature of my work, it's very like it's sometimes monotonous. It's like it's complex but monotonous, and which is weird. But I always just listen to whatever podcasts come out just so I can fill in the background noise because I get tired of listening to the same music all the time. So I stay pretty current with them, and Don Jamaris is probably one of the best things of our time. It's right up there with Thigate.
Not talking about Thigate.
No.
Yeah, we already. Well, you guys already
rule
talked
of
about
Thigate.
it.
Thigate. Listen to the previous podcast.
Yeah, but it's just a bunch of broads talking about it, so their opinion doesn't count.
I'm going to throw
Jesus
things at
Christ.
you.
Brian,
I'm sorry. Damn it! It just
Do
popped
you
up.
want a broken kneecap?
oh, the best part is I could yell at both of you with one name.
Anyway,
That is the real story of how my knee got broken.
I was actually really disappointed that I didn't get to use more shit posts. I was just ready to I had given up and was ready to throw in every image that I had on my phone that I use as a reaction to anything.
it's good to have a good staple of imageries available. I think Nathan has like 3 billion things just.
When
ready
I
to
was,
go.
I think when I used Photo Bucket more when I was younger, I think I still have over like 400 or 500 images that I would just have on tap, and now I just have that in my phone now. So there's probably a reason why it's angry at me, but
I imagine it's just 400 pictures of dildos.
it is. It's a bunch of dicks.
That's.
Some people's dicks are painted purple,
Yes.
so it looks like a dildo. But then when you really look at it, you're like, "Oh, that's actually a dick. You son of a bitch." Because it's okay to look at a dildo, but it's wrong to look at a dick.
All right. Good.
Just like tapping into the previous conversations here.
I got dicks on the brain, Amanda.
Yeah.
Anyway, moving on to the topic of the day, which we don't have.
We don't have a topic at all. I mean, we could talk about.
We talk
things-
about how awesome Legion is and how
No.
else aren't
That's
really a
pretty
problem.
boring. I played all through Scorn for casters, and I'm going back and going to start going through the ones I like. Well, either I like more or I feel more competitive, so I'm kind of excited. Because towards the end of my Scorn run, my last few casters weren't what I consider the top tier
You're
casters.
scraping
So
the bottom of the
I
barrel.
was like, and I got through everything, so now I'm going to install different combinations. So I'm excited for the next couple of weeks.
Are you excited to get let down by Zadesh?
Zadesh 2?
Yeah.
Oh, we'll see. I mean, it'll be interesting. His spells he has make him pretty neat, so we'll see what actually happens when he comes out.
Mm.
That's a good point, Tort. Tort made a good point about Kerr and Dix.
I don't think I've.
Well, you
I
said
mean, he's
Brian,
probably
so it might be
he's
about
probably
you.
keeping better track than I am.
No, we all know it was Kerr.
I don't know. It's the penis game. I have to say something every day about penises.
We don't need to.
That said lambzobs, and I was like really confused for a second.
I was wondering what a lamb zoob is. What the? I did. I was.
This is very good audio podcasts for listening here. Even video podcasting here, it's even better.
That's what we should just do. We'll have like a special podcast where we only comment on what we see on the Twitch chat and then never post it.
You mean every week?
Yeah, that's. I've been doing pretty good. But you're just saying, Torts
Yeah.
is this, and
Yeah, Tort says stuff, which he always does, and then other people come in and say stuff intermittently.
And then there's no Travis to make fun of in the chat, which is really half the reason I come here.
Yeah, Travis is not. He doesn't like us anymore.
Well, I mean, it's fair.
Well, that's unfortunate.
For whom?
Our audience.
Indeed. But yeah, I don't know. That was all I have for War Machine Talk, because I'm just excited to go back to some casters.
Yeah, I think I'm in the same process with Legion right now, where I'm skipping around and trying to figure out like which casters I really want to like hone in on, and I'm trying to not like get crazy about the whole Veil 2 nuttiness.
Yeah, but you'll be in a new faction in 3 weeks, so it's
Well,
it's a short-lived
He
thing.
just picked up a bunch of men off.
I did.
So.
I picked up. I can probably run just about whatever men off list I want now, so that'll happen soon. And I'll probably just I'll start with the power pair and then just work my way down, which will be really hard, but that's what happens. I'll play a power pair until I get bored and then jump to another faction. Maybe Merc's next. Who knows?
PG Scotty doesn't know. I'm gonna ask a question about scoring with Makeda 2. He likes Ferrex with her, and Ferrex are amazing because you just stay death and Ferrex and they never die. It's hilarious. When in doubt, add Karox is my scoring advice to everyone in the world. Just more Karox.
Amanda is 2 for 2 on dropped phones on podcasts.
I actually threw my phone. I had it in my hand and it just went across the room today. But there was a penis covered in what looked like the pieces of glass for a disco ball, and I was just too excited to share it with everyone.
There you go. Scary. Anyway,
Thank God we don't have
non-Euclidean
like
Nick
an
to join the
automatic
podcast.
put that onto the feed or anything like that, because
See,
I'm happy with our rated R podcast.
Yeah.
Not further.
Well, the ladies.
Oh,
seem to
I
be-
didn't show it on the camera.
Okay, good.
I think the ladies are like R plus. They're like the. That's why I'm afraid to guest on that opinion because I'll be so like afraid.
It's not a questionable podcast at all. We're very wholesome. I'm a very pure person. You don't understand.
I'm a pure innocent individual.
You should have
I
seen
would
the
be-
looks that Brian and I were giving each other. Down there, you just hear something upstairs. I'm like,
No, I think if anyone gets bored and wants to like just give away their life for this, or an hour of their life for this one, or 2 hours actually, there should be a dick counter for your last episode. I'm sure it's way over 100.
It might be. Dicks were in abundance. But I did bring up the topic of unsolicited dick pics, and so of course we were talking about them.
yeah.
That seems like the weirdest thing in the world to me. I mean, I can't. I don't understand it on any level.
Yeah, that
No
was-
level. Hey, surprise, Dick. Like what?
Yeah,
No
that
one
was
wants-
that
no
was
one
the thing
wants
with when we were talking about that right before the podcast went live. It was like that doesn't register to me. It was like if I'm interested in a girl, I'm not just going to send her a picture of my dick. It just doesn't compute.
It doesn't seem like a smart
And
idea.
even with Photoshop, I can at least make it not look so sickly. So I can actually improve it with Photoshop. So I understand, but still makes no sense. to
Like
me.
make it look like a balloon
I can,
animal.
yeah. But I can,
Do you like poodles?
Brian,
increase the size and make it less dark green. All sorts of things you can do with it. Get rid of the fourth ball. All these things.
I see the flaw in your logic, though.
Yeah.
You'd have to use Photoshop. That means you'd have to do more work.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
Yeah. Sometimes if you just send it in a natural, it's okay.
You're probably going to be getting several dick pics after this podcast.
send it to my Private Press form. It's I can't pronounce it. Valiant418 at gmail.com. Or radiofan at gmail.com will also be all this acceptable place to send all your dick pics. Although Nathan probably just catalog them and add them to his collection.
Yeah, he probably has Nathan's dick pics at gmail.com.
Yeah.
What if we just he prints them off in a fashion at work where they can make a bouquet of dick pics and just give it to you?
Does he make a flip book of them?
He probably
I
does.
would- yeah, whatever you.
Look, it's jumping around.
It's like a fish out of water.
It's the meat spin. It's just a flop. But yeah,
All right, that was that. And
That
that's
was
It's just like
and that's it. And there's that topic.
this is very close to. This is not very close. We haven't started talking about what movie we're going to go see, but it's very close to the movie, the failed cast.
Failed cast was very good. Indeed,
Never
but
had
no,
that
I mean
anymore.
I don't know. I played a lot of video games this weekend. So I played a lot of Overwatch and a lot of Deus Ex, and that's all I did for 2 days straight.
How you
so.
liking Deus Ex?
Don't worry about it.
I like it. I like that style of game. It doesn't it's not my favorite thing in the world, but
it's the best I
hey,
got.
stop throwing phones on the ground over there.
Problem solved.
No, I think this week it was just mostly War Machine games for me. Like, I I think I played 7 games this week.
Oh wow. Yeah, I haven't. I've been meaning to try to get in. I think this Wednesday I'm going to try to get in a game with David. I want to destroy that.
Davis or David?
David. I want to destroy
the
that
Crusader.
Protectorate
Yeah,
Crusader
the Crusader
list.
thing.
Crusader.
He's already he made a post about it basically, and then Brian called him out on it, which was pretty.
Madison needs to step up their game if they can't beat 10 Crusaders.
Well, it's just on a lot of people are bringing on Wednesdays you have people who do bring tournament lists who are practicing, who have their ready to go lists. Then you have people who bring their experiment lists because maybe this work, maybe this won't work. And then you have people who are like, I just want to bring lists and go wee, and that's fair because it's just Wednesday night gaming. And then sometimes certain people seem to just aim at those people and then be real proud of themselves when they beat the casuals week after week. And I think it's a little obnoxious, but
It is.
but we all bring. I mean, I like me and Dan fight every single week, and we both just bring down tournament lists after we'll just practice again game after game with mean lists, or we'll usually ask if we play someone new. Okay, what kind of list are you playing? Should I bring my tournament list against you, or should I bring a test? People are like they're pretty good about that because people know. I don't want to just play some ridiculous mean thing just because I'm just relaxing. I had a crazy week at work. I want to throw some models around. I don't want to deal with the
That was the same with me. As I like Orion, who I haven't seen down there in a while, came down finally, and he wanted to play me in a game, and I wanted to try out this janky list. He's like, sure, play it, and it was my 2 colossal list, and it was not good for him.
Well, that's Orion was gonna try and make it to that lacrosse tournament too, but couldn't for work reasons. But I think I'm gonna adopt Brian's strategy on lists for Baraboo's group too, because I oftentimes will bring my top game list because I want to try and figure them out. But then I'm playing into somebody's I'm still trying to figure out the game period, and then I'm just like, well, here's Irusk 2 with 30 pikemen. Let's see how this goes. Or so now I'm gonna start bringing one list that's more, if the social contract falls more into the category of you're trying to figure some things out, or you're not quite ready to face down a Veil 2 get you on the top of one or bottom of one assassination list, and then I'll have that list too, just in case they want to try and play against something like that, or if I'm playing against a player who's of a higher caliber, because I think it's important to try and bring your meta up with you, because if you just sit there and try and bash them down time after time, not only are you going to lose players, you're also going to not make it much more of a competitive pool for yourself in the long run. So Ethan and I travel to so many events. Basically, whenever one comes up, we go to it. But when we come back to Baraboo, we're some of those people who don't get out as much as we do. We're just we can just roll them constantly.
If you don't have a good player base, you can't improve your. Eventually, you're why is that on the ground? If you can't make your game better, you destroy. Yeah, exactly. You're gonna you hit that wall, and it's just all useless.
And then you might think something's really good, but in all actuality, you're just playing against somebody who's not.
Well, that's the thing.
Equipped to beat it.
People will take those just terrible list combinations that exist in every edition, and then they'll beat someone who's terrible at the game, and then go to the forums. Well, I just won 3 games with blah blah blah. It's the best. Everyone's wrong. It's you played against 3 people who've never played the game before. I mean, you could take anything and played 50 points down and still won that game. So people need to think about that before they brag about what's good.
Sometimes. And what's bad too, I mean, it really comes around full circle with some of the errata things that we're talking about, like Hellmouse and Sentry Stones, and I think the initial gut reaction for people was they need to be changed, they need to be errata, and this needs to happen. And it's if you actually sit there and think about it outside of the box, the Hellmouth is not a ridiculously broken model. It's actually really easy to mitigate. And Sentry Stones maybe a little bit less because of how they get protected, but they're still easy. I still don't know what Wormwood players do against Sevi 2. I just don't get it. How do they win that game? And I think that people who haven't had that matchup yet, who are playing Wormwood or Sentry Stones and hinging on those, would just be
those
blindsided.
players and events bring. I mean, they're aware Sevi 2 is one of the hard counters, so they would just drop their Tanith list or their Butler 2 list, and then it gets an interesting game.
Yeah, I'm just saying if they've never faced it or never thought about it, those, and that's a rare circumstance, but. I just think there are ways to deal with the boogeymen out there. Yeah.
As long as every faction has an answer, I don't care. It's when you have a boogeyman list that certain factions just lose to. If someone has to think hard and figure it out, that's fine. They should learn hard. They should
Yeah.
figure it out. But if X faction can't beat Wormwood, then fuck Wormwood.
Yeah.
As long as everyone can deal with it, then I don't care.
I think Madrak 2 is getting close to that point. I think he's right on the tilting edge, but I think something needs to be done with him. But
Yeah.
that's me getting
That's-
off on a tangent.
That's
into
pretty
another
much the
spot.
battle cry of the internet right now, is that something needs to be done about that track too. I mean, yeah, he's difficult. He's difficult to
Ironically, he's not good against Wormwood.
yeah, that's very true.
Yep.
But yeah. Was there a point
just
there?
for it was.
What
Just,
was-
I think we were just getting around to. You should try to not just support your meta by showing up and playing, but you need to try and help them along with you. I think is what we were all getting at, and making sure that you strike some sort of social contract when you start playing to say what type of game are you looking for. Okay, let's do this.
Yep, yeah, I think that's a big point though too. Yeah, I can't tell you how proud I was when I was running the Mayhem Cup, like mid Mark II or so, and it was one of our first offenses, and all of our normal tournament players didn't even place except for Keith, didn't even place in there, and it was all of our locals that basically stomped ground and kept the cup in Madison at that point.
Mm-hmm.
It was pretty cool.
Well, and Madison back then was a much more experimental meta than what it is now, I think, and maybe this is just me being a little disconnected with it, but I think, and it could be part of Mark III too, but it seems like a lot of metas are really adopting the normative lists right now, and there's not a whole lot of experimentation going on. But I think that's something too that maybe
You
people
have
can
more
work out
people now who they get one or two lists and then they lock themselves in it for the rest. Like Jordan found his 2 cater lists
Yeah.
in the first month of Mark III.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see him changing lists until there's new books that bring out something crazy, and he'll make minor tweaks. But he will never. He says I don't. And this is fine, but some people say they play factions like some of them like Keith or even our local Jordan. They play 1 or 2 casters in a faction. They play what they think is the absolute best, then they ignore the rest. Where for me, or for a lot of people, it's like, well, I want to play the field. That's what interests me. Is not just playing these two. I mean, I will try to focus more on some better lists for events, but I still will modify my list. And if I win a couple events in a row, well, I'm bored by that now. So now I want to see what else can work. And they're like, well, I won a couple lists. How far can I take this? And they don't get bored because they're winning, and that's all that matters, and that's great, and it's fun, and it works for them great. But they don't play a faction; they play a couple casters, and that's a huge difference, in my opinion.
It is.
Better or worse, it's not really,
I guess I'm just not wired that way. Where I just like. I mean, I was when trolls were at their peak, because I played straight almost for an entire year, nothing but runes and EE. But I can't imagine playing just little pieces of a faction without playing the entire faction. Like in Khador, there's not going to be a model that's in the faction that I haven't put on the table at some point, and it's going to be the same thing with Legion. It definitely was with Khador in early Mark II for me, but I guess I just don't flow that way, where I only play a few casters from a faction, and that's how it goes.
And as much as I love Scorn right now, there's still going to be a few things I don't put on the table. I mean, I've put everything on the table, but I'm not. As I go forward, there will be a few Warlocks that I probably will almost never bring out, but it'll be a very small percentage of things that I just couldn't get to work for either the way the meta's playing or my play style with that model didn't work. But I'm still going to rotate through a vast majority of it constantly. It's just a matter of. Because there are things that just won't work in a faction to a person's play style. And avoiding that makes sense.
Yeah, or models that are just kind of designed in a head-scratching way. Like, I still can't find I've been trying to find a reason to put Fianna the Lash in any Legion list, and I just can't do it. Like, she's maybe 1 or 2 rules short from being a good model.
Maybe some future things might make that possible. Yeah, I can say.
Maybe Fiona 2 is going to be fine.
Yeah, watch
Fianna
Fiona
2.
Fianna 2 is going to get Storm Rager, and that would make her really cool. That you can't play with her. Legion problems.
Yeah, the main thing is getting communication. Scotty had pointed out, though, is making sure everyone communicates what they want to play in a game.
I would have had a gentleman's agreement before every match. We shake hands, we have a cigar, we make fun of the broads, and we move on. A gentleman's game. Sorry. It was funny because it wasn't funny.
Oh, it wasn't.
It was not funny.
Jesus Christ, Brian. Both of you.
His fault.
I'm sorry. I think we're all reading the Twitch stream at
Yeah,
one time
it's
because I
super
Our audience is very chatty with us, so those of you who are listening to us, if you were...
too.
Yeah, they were trying to come up with a term for a large number of dicks. I'm personally fond of a throbbing of dicks.
Yeah, I think that's.
I regretted
I think
it.
that's a.
It's all sorts.
I think that is an all-encompassing.
It's like a murder of crows.
Yeah,
Well, they had said a murder of dicks, but I think that's concerning.
that's just like private investigator's worst nightmare.
Indeed.
Did he get it? Because it's a murder of dicks.
It's a good
We're full of
multiple
comedy.
layer.
We're full of comedy gold right now.
That was layer upon layer. Are we podcasting next week because it's a holiday?
Next week, we could podcast. We could podcast on Monday or so.
Labor Day, isn't it?
That's a ridiculous
Next
statement.
weekend is actually. I'm going to be out of town.
What's next weekend?
I'm going to the Chaos Cup.
The Chaos Cup. Woo!
Yay.
So no podcast next week.
Blood Bowl stuff, right?
Blood Bowl.
Yep.
Yep. Of which I honestly I forgot to sign up through the pre-registration. I forgot to send in my roster on time, and had no idea it was the 4th and 5th.
So it's all sorts of surprises for you.
It was surprising.
I might do a board game day next week. I don't know. We'll see.
Oh, son of a bitch! Why would you do that? Why would you do that?
Mostly for this conversation.
God damn it!
Chris is coming to town too. Chris is coming to town next weekend. Some board games. You guys are invited. Everyone's
Chris?
It's Chris. Chris and Chris Foyt. You guys
Oh,
probably know.
probably don't.
Oric. Things. He sometimes is on a chat.
Flame
now,
Strike.
Flame Strike. Yeah. He's learning Signar.
Okay. Sure.
He was supposed to be here today, but things came up.
He
Gotcha.
had things.
I did have a blast playing Firefly. The first time I played it, I did watch like a little walkthrough tutorial before we played at your
Yeah.
house, so I could kind of get like the gist, so I wasn't asking a billion questions.
Yeah.
Actually, I wouldn't have expected to take the game the first time I played it through. Not like I was just tactically a genius or something, but it was actually a really fun time when I had really discounted that game previously.
Like I said, I think the game, every expansion makes that game better. And Chris was talking about him and his wife. I know his wife, Jen, was talking about maybe wanting to learn that game too. So maybe you could figure that at some point. But yeah, maybe games.
Games would be fun. I don't have to do anything. Well, might have to do more cleaning this weekend.
No,
I know. I'm
clean's
trying
the
to
worst.
like get set up to work from home, and like facilities and HR have to come inspect your place, and our place really is not presentable to coworkers
really?
at the moment.
It's presentable.
I wouldn't.
No, but I mean, I'm just
Well,
more
they have
shocked that
to-
people come and look
It's
at your
because,
house. for
because
working
we
from
work
home.
in the health insurance field, so like there's a lot of HIPAA things that they need to worry about, and it's
Well,
just
facilities
them
comes
doing a
and makes
CY
sure like
thing.
your internet is fine, your like desk space is fine. They're also really like serious about your chair and your desk need to be like a, I don't want to say professional, but like in a sort of position where you're like
Ergonomic.
Yeah. And then like HR, I don't know why HR does it, but like facilities and IT makes sense to me. I think HR just makes sure that you're not.
Well, they're probably
have, like,
looking
a
for like
dog or-
things that don't violate OSHA.
Make sure you have a
Yeah.
computer at home.
Well, they provide you with
Oh.
everything. So.
Nice.
Do you do tech support? Is it like over the phone support, or is it,
a
or is
little
it,
bit? So
or are you taking patients?
I'm no.
Because
We're
that's where
at-home
it seems
I am
weird.
in
dealers,
health
yeah.
insurance. No, my job is really weird. So it's like I'm the position's called a technical specialist.
Sure.
Basically, would be like IT without the technology, but a lot more like health insurance knowledge.
Sure,
I
sure.
do a lot of like assistance for customer service. So like when they are completely just like, I have no idea what I'm doing right now. How do I do this? How do I fix this? I do a lot of like writing PNPs for them, like in-depth research for like
I had a
claims and shit.
I worked for Humana for a while. I had to get like my license, my selling insurance license, like in 14 states because I did stuff related to it. It was a big pain in the butt.
Yeah.
It just seems weird. If you're doing something over the phone, why does it matter if you're in your underwear or not? Or
Oh no, they
or
don't care about
if-
that.
Or even if like you have a toaster oven next to your
I
computer.
think it's more like if you live in an area where, like, if you have a dog, if you have like loud noises, or like the same sense if your internet is not fast enough.
Your home isn't secure.
Yeah, or if your home isn't secure.
Or not
because,
even home, but just office in general.
because we're dealing with like personal health information and like
Okay.
I have access to like
Sure.
hundreds of thousands of claims that I
Okay.
can just pull up if I feel like
that
it.
makes more sense That way? Okay. It just because I work from home once in a while. Brian works from home once in a while, and
Oh, yeah,
I don't
no.
think we've ever had to worry about somebody coming to check out the place
I think the
beforehand.
difference is because I can work from home from my laptop, but if I want the like permanent station of working from home, so where they bring in like my VM and I would get like dual monitors and the all of the fancy the equipments, and then have like a constant connection to everything there.
Then that makes sense. That makes perfect sense. Then okay. When I was thinking of work from home, I was still thinking of like I'm going to log into my laptop. I'm going to.
Well, you're confusing working from home and playing WoW.
Same to you. I check my email.
Do not have to be wearing high heels if you are a woman, by the way. I don't actually. I look like a scrub every day going to work, so.
That's my
I wear
look.
high heels.
Well,
It just hurts.
A funny thing about just work garbage, but we recently kind of merged with almost like a takeover of Gunderson Health Systems in La Crosse, and their insurance side was so deeply rooted into the hospital system that even though their insurance workers worked outside of the hospital, they still had to adhere to like these 1940s dress codes. So they could never wear legs could never be exposed. They had to wear pantyhose. If they ever wear a skirt, that could only go just above the knee.
Yeah, okay.
So like I don't know if they had to like come in and like kneel on the ground to make sure it hit the floor or anything, but it's so ridiculous. I just couldn't understand it.
No,
Yeah.
this day and age. I mean, like tattoos was a big thing for a long time. If you had any kind of tattoos that could be seen, you just couldn't get a job.
It's
I know all about
still
that.
can be pretty. I'm surprised that work lets me get away with my hair color. And granted, no one sees me. What I was doing before, when I was like kind of doing some sales stuff, people would still come in and make appointments or do whatever, and it was never an issue. But working from home means I can do whatever the fuck I want. It means no bras, just none ever.
I didn't shower for 2 days straight over this week because I've been working remotely since my leg took a shit. So I scrubbed it up.
Boom.
Don't need to smell good to audit those contracts.
Makes some sense.
So we got any questions? Did anybody look to see? I threw my phone, so I think everyone threw their phone.
Are there
except
any
for Brent.
Zappity Grumbles? Tort, do you have any Zappity Grumbles? Tort can be our secretary.
I picked up my phone.
Tort, you can do whatever you want. You don't have to wear pants at work if you don't want to. Tell him I said it's okay. Oh, I think it's,
The random Brian guy from Wisconsin said it's okay
yeah.
for you not to wear pants.
Americans know best.
There's no comments on the Facebook.
No one cares
I
about
don't
us
see
this
anything.
week. All right, chat room. You have a few minutes of our time. Ask us any question, and we will give you some sort of answer.
Yep, this is your direct link to us. What's on your
I
mind?
too am upset when I have to wear pants to work. I don't.
It's the craziest thing in the world.
Yeah.
It's like, why, world? Why?
Why do you have to wear pants anyway?
If you work at Epic and you think you wear whatever you want to work, so you don't wear pants at Epic. It's a true story. Epic is crazy. So while the chat is formulating their thoughts, what I find interesting what's going on right now is Pokemon Go, how parks are revolting against the game. In Milwaukee, they basically sent a letter to the company who makes Pokemon Go saying either you provide a permit that lets you have activities in our park or you must remove all Pokestops. Hudson Park in Madison has had a community going. For whatever reason, that park Hudson Park was a small park. And it has
Very
three
small park,
Pokemon. There's a big park. It's over on Monona side. There's a big. There's all sorts of things near it, but the Hudson Park is like a small subset of the larger thing. But there's 3 Pokestops, and for whatever reason, people that started going there started luring it, putting lures on there to make the Pokestops
Yeah.
more active. And like every night, suddenly they created their own community on Facebook, like an offshoot. So people would go there at night, spend 4 or 5 hours there at night, making new friends, and it'd be a group of like 5 to 8 people just hanging out there.
Doing what you're supposed to do is going to a park.
Going to a park and just hanging out. Well, the neighborhood fucking hated it because it's just a small park. There are some parks in Madison that are not that are right next to people's homes. I mean, it is and man, every person in the park, like police kept being called on them, and they were actually trying to work with the community. They were trying to because they just go because when you play Pokemon Go, you're just fucking sitting down and chatting and
Yeah.
swinging your phone. You're not it doesn't involve like any sort of activity other than maybe walk in. There's 3 stops, so it's like maybe like a 10, step walk to get to all the Pokestops. Well, they got 2 of those Pokestops got removed in the last week too.
Jesus.
It's interesting that people are going outside, and now people are like, well, that's our outside space. That outside space wasn't meant for you. It was our space.
Well, that's just the thing is you can look anywhere on the internet and see, like, I'm gonna bring up this topic, but the like idea of millennials are lazy and all they do is sit inside and do whatever. That's exactly what it is. It's just taking that. Suddenly, people are outside doing what you tell them to, and now it's a problem.
Well, but they're not doing. We want them to be outside doing what we told them to do, and not going outside to do what they want to do.
Yeah.
See, do what you're doing is wrong. You should be doing something else. But you're not doing that quite right. You should be doing it how I told you to do it.
But even if you were doing everything that exact same way, it would still become a nuisance because it's just the way that is.
Well, millennials are trouble.
Yes, we are.
Well, it sounds like with the Milwaukee thing, one of the interesting things that I read about their letter was that their policy on having to get a permit for geocaching sites was already in place. So it's interesting in that it is really a dick move because like they shouldn't really be trying to stomp on people's good times. I mean, the parks are there to be utilized, right? It's not like they're supposed to be some kind of natural reserve in the city for nothing. But I wonder how many other parks would have that kind of like policy in place, and how a person who develops a program like Niantic even sources all that information. Like they'd have to hire a whole team to find out which parks are we putting these things in, and which ones of them have this specific policy set up. So it's like I don't feel like Milwaukee's being a dick just yet. If Niantic fills out the permits and then they deny them right away, then I feel like it's for sure being a dick. But I wouldn't put them on I wouldn't like go burning them so quickly. But I do understand like some other parks are definitely just like get the fuck out of here.
Well, I found some parks in Madison that were literally like a 15-foot stretch of land that was technically considered a park that was just surrounded by houses. I'm like, how the fuck is this a park? Mm-hmm. And I remember the first week, because it's not that far from where me and the Shays live, we went for a walk, and the people in the backyard were grilling out. They're like, oh, you guys playing Pokemon? Like, yeah. They're like, yeah, we've seen, 500 people in the last week come through here. We've never seen someone walk to this park, before this thing. And they were fine. They weren't mad. They were just like surprised to see all these people.
Yeah.
They were joking about starting like a lemonade stand. I'm like, well, obviously, that's, you take advantage of it. You see a bunch of people, sell them something.
Exactly.
Most businesses are happy about it. Some businesses get mad too, but a lot of them embrace it because they realize more people equals potential more money.
Exactly, and people
many
are
of
going to
them
be in
won't.
areas where they wouldn't find themselves otherwise.
Yeah.
The funny one that I'll always bring up about Pokemon Go is Sauk. The town that we live in, Sauk, has a park that's basically just a stretch of land that nobody ever uses for anything. There's fucking nothing there. There's a couple benches and some sidewalks that nobody goes to. But they had 2 landmarks. One was a gym, one's a Pokestop. One was a giant windmill that is no longer there. Hasn't been there for years. But that's just the gym, the invisible windmill.
Sure.
Then their little Pokestop was the prairie mound, which it was just a big pile of dirt with fucking wild growth on it.
Yeah.
A small hill.
It was a mound is very much the descriptor here. It looked like somebody put a septic tank in it, really. But so this Pokestop was there, and like just 3 weeks ago they bulldozed it out and just flattened all the land. So now there's like two Pokemon landmarks that are just, they have nothing to do with anything. It's just fun.
And it's not even the companies putting stops there. It's people submit saying I want to stop here, or because it all came from their other game. People just created stops.
Ingress.
Ingress is where it all came from. It just amuses me that people are so mad that people are out doing what it's like. How dare they be out doing that? That activity's dumb, therefore they shouldn't do it.
Exactly.
They should be doing what I like. I like NASCAR. They should all watch NASCAR. If you don't like,
yeah, go outside to the ballpark.
Yeah, whenever someone complains about what their activities are, all you have to do is go, what do you like? And go, oh, well, half those, I think half of your activities are stupid, but I'm not telling you.
It's more so an invasion of the space that you have deemed yours.
Yeah.
I think even if it's a 15 by 15 stretch of land that people consider a park, the instant people who don't actively use that location are now actively using it, and it is no longer only you and your kind and
your neighbors.
Yeah, but I mean, like, whether it's the people who live around it or like the small little school events that happen there, as soon as it's beyond that, you're suddenly like, why are people using my things? Especially when it's a public space.
Yeah.
You still like latch onto it like it is your thing.
Yeah, my mom had big issues all the time. She lived across the park for the longest time. I would get consistent phone calls from her complaining about the kids in the park all the time and how she didn't feel safe and the kids were over there causing a ruckus. They actually were causing a ruckus over there, and it wasn't over like some quiet kids walking around saying hi to each other for playing on their phone. They were, actually actively destroying stalls with explosives and,
Yeah,
and
there are
other
a few
things.
outliers.
Oh, I mean, I was at the park, at one of the parks in Madison, and I saw some kids walk up to this big plexiglass window. There's like a bulletin sign of all these things, like announcements, and then the kids walked up to it, grabbed the plexiglass, and just shattered it right on the ground, and they all like laughed and giggled and ran away. I'm like, but that's kids being dumb, and they were just there with actually their family doing like a cookout. But of course, people are doing Pokemon stuff there. I'm sure they were the ones who were going to be blamed on it, because of course, Pokemon players are hooligans because. They're just, because geeks are the wild hooligan type.
It's not even geeks that are playing it. Like,
I know, it's...
literally anyone who is between the ages of, 14 and, 30.
Even older, like Chris's kids were playing it too. And Chris's kids are
Younger, yeah.
grade.
I'm just assuming,
But,
the
yeah.
average age for, a cell phone.
There's a pretty big core group of Pokemon people,
Yeah,
though.
yeah.
But Well, I hear you. It was an interesting fact.
It's bothersome, though. I mean,
Yeah, I do want to respond to something that Tort said about benches plus paths equal park. In the area that I grew up in, a park had slides, swings, stuff for kids to do. It had little
bottles.
Those two, heroin needles, a basketball court, and then every single one had the little tin box that you could put charcoal in and grill out in the park. Those are parks that I know. So when I see something that's just a stretch of dirt and some pathways and maybe some fancy lighting, that just seems like a piece of land to me. It doesn't feel
that's
like
waiting
a park.
for a house.
Yeah.
Yep.
Or it's just something that's supposed to look good that's filling up someone's front yard. It just doesn't feel like a park to me. So that's why I was like, eh.
No, I remember the old parks with the grills in there and
then
the tires that are holding all the mosquito larvae and all
the,
that.
the giant piece of sheet metal that was in a triangle shape that had a railing on it, so you could crawl up it, and then you could slide down at the top, right? But the thing is that this was just like a polished piece of steel. So if it was noon, which was the high time for park, you just go down and have 3rd-degree burns all over your back.
Yeah.
Those are the best.
Those are the best parks. Yeah.
Or they had the little slider things where you grab onto this little handle and then you slide it against some bearings on this beam and try to get to the other side. But then we started using it as you'd try and slam it at somebody and get it to come back to the other side. It was kind of like a weird version of Pong. It was weird. Crazy.
Or the
Fun time.
carousels that you would try to spin so fast. You would have somebody sitting in the middle of it, and you have somebody running on the side of
The
it just
merry-go-round,
to
yeah.
make it go fast, and then watch them fly out.
Should we?
We do have
couple
I saw
questions.
there's some questions that were up above
Yeah,
too,
I was-
so
I
it
was
seems
gonna-
like
I
we've
think
got
there weren't too many above this. I
I
think.
think there-
That's where it starts. Oh, no, it went away.
there are some quite a bit of ways up. Nope, further.
This is
I don't think any of these are questions. I
Oh,
think
or
it,
did-
literally
Right there, right
starts
there.
Okay.
Right here.
Yeah, it was I remember the last one I saw. The first one I saw was the colors.
So this is our Zappity Grumble / random question phase of the afternoon,
Yep.
evening.
So first one is should we all get other color hair?
No.
I thought about dyeing my beard a different color, but actually it would be only something natural. So it would be
Just
like
to
a
get
black.
the salt and pepper thing going on.
Yeah.
I've thought about it, but I'm too reserved as an individual to do that.
I stopped doing drugs, so I'm fine with my hair being a natural color. I barely have any on the top of my head, so I don't want to change the color of it.
Apparently, I do all the drugs. Stop doing drugs, so now I have a norm. No, I
Stop doing drugs. Clean the bathroom.
I don't know. It's
How dare you.
I like having different colors of hair, but I'm also someone who is willing to take the time to maintain having a different
Well,
color.
your
of
hair, it's very much Scott Pilgrim versus the World hair. It looks like her hair was that purple on one of her days.
Yeah, maybe. I haven't seen that movie in a really long time.
It
But
was awesome.
It is
because
really
she
good.
goes through the pink and the teal and everything.
Yeah.
This was supposed to be pink.
But you had
the-
that weird lavender.
No, the
meth
color
hair
was
color.
called Wild Orchid. Squirted out of the tube, and it was very like pinkish fuchsia. And I darkened it up a little bit with some black, and it still just came out purple. And my hair was almost a really like blonde gray before I added color to it again. But I mean, if it's your thing, you want to do it, but it's very time consuming, requires a lot of maintenance.
Yeah. I guess so just when I was younger, I did it a few times, and now I'm just too fucking old for
It's
it.
also costly.
Yeah, that's no. I don't even cut my hair.
Nah, I need a haircut.
I'm trying to see how long.
If I don't get my haircut every 6 weeks, I go crazy.
It just so
Zappity.
Grumble. Next one is from Bewey,
You can just call
or
him
is it
Booby.
Is it Bewey?
It's Booby.
Bewey.
You're just missing a letter.
Casino dice or backgammon dice?
Neither.
I love the shit out of casino dice. I like them. It's not the precision that gets me going. I do throw them into a dice tray that's a little bit longer so I can actually get distance and make them roll and bounce. But the big thing for me is the size. I like the size and the sharpness of the corners and how easy they are to read. I use black and white casino dice. Fuck you, Privateer Press, for stealing my jam. But I just think they're great. I don't like backgammon dice, though. They're way too expensive for something that Chessex makes.
Yeah,
I love throwing casino dice at my opponent's well-painted models as hard as I can.
Exactly.
Then it bounces off the models, it chips them, but then it lands. It's an equal, fair bounce, and I know I got the good bounce out of it.
Did you coat your models in floor wax?
Yeah. Yeah, well, a guy lost his arm. I guess he's injured.
Yep. Left arm's out on that avatar, sir.
I don't know. I have casino dice that I'm really impatient to use once I get my fancy dice rolling box, but I also ordered some beautiful dice from Chessex that are pink with heart pips, and I'm very excited to play with those. So you won't see me with my casino dice for a while.
Zappity.
Rumble. So we got from PG Scotty. Any tips on herding a meta to a more competitive stance? I recently held an event and we had a great turnout, but one local player. I understand that playing against competitive players is a little intimidating, but in this game you lose until you win.
People have to want to play competitively. There's really nothing other than that. I mean, if they don't want to go to that level, I mean,
They're not going to go.
They're not going to the level. I mean,
It's difficult to force that mentality. It kind of has to be there already, or you have to kind of like it has to have been bred in at an early stage.
Yeah.
Like I think Madison's very competitively.
we just any new game I go into, I think it will competitively as well. I mean, that's just how I want to play. I want to play it at a high level, no matter what game it is.
There are you could probably try and organize some leagues that start out with more of like a fluffy undertone to them, but there is a competitive sense to them, and that might get the more casual players into the swing of a competitive event. I really think that Champions is going to be a good deal for getting casuals into, because if you give them a limited set of what to build with, then they're not so confused, or not confused, but they're not so like overwhelmed by all the choices. I just feel like if everybody's on the same level as far as like what they can select from, then it might be easier for people to adjust to that.
Counterpoint to that, I think Champions is actually probably one of the worst ones to get into. Because the main reason why I say that is because it does involve the hardcore painting standard.
No, I skip that. Like
If you were going to be running Champions, as basically if you're going to run it as I cannot think of the term what they're used for, the forecasters.
as
ADR.
ADR?
If you're going to run a tournament using just ADR, that's fine. I'm all for that.
Yeah.
But Champions it's their replacement for hardcore.
I guess I was just using the term Champions as in the format of selecting only from those casters and having no ADR selection. But when I think about running Champions in Baraboo, I would cross out the whole painting basing requirement.
So I think personally the way to get people to eventually maybe accept competitive events is run casual events, and then slowly, to run more and more casual events, and eventually you might get some people that will actually come out and play in more serious events. Like Who's the Boss, I think, was one of the ones that we were able to get some more people that were full on casual to actually come out and play in your events.
I think I never experimented with it, but I thought about like playing and making a team tournament where you have like try and discuss with your competitive players to team up with some of the more casual players, so that you can they can experience a competitive game with someone who has a competitive mindset.
If you have somebody who is competitive and they're more than willing, we talked about this last week, more than willing to share their knowledge with other folks.
I'm shaking my head at Brian's idea. I think that's a terrible idea.
I said I never experimented with
No,
it. It's just a theory.
I'm sitting on the side of
They might just
you
tell
have
you how to
people who
play.
are naturally competitive, and you have people who, because of the term competitive, are just naturally put off. I think that there are just some people you can't coax into a competitive environment.
Well, competitive and casual are still like in the gaming world. They're both like 4-letter words for both sides, right? Like, oh, you're a competitive player, so that means you're a dick, and you're like,
Yeah.
oh, you're a casual player, that means you're
Filthy.
an idiot. So it's just getting over that. Like, I can be competitive and still have a good time playing casual, but that's I guess that's my input. That was a long one, but
Zappity.
Zappity Grumble.
should Bastion / Torbjorn be banned from Overwatch? Should Overwatch competitive have banning?
No, yes, done.
Yeah, no, I think no, because in competitive play you're not going to see them, and I don't think competitive needs banning because I think it's fairly balanced. People.
Oh, I mean like banning of individual peoples,
Oh,
not. I think you put in the hands of whomever any character is fantastic,
Yeah.
except for Hanzo.
The other thing is, like, if you look at Bastion and Torbjorn, those are both low skill level players, or both low skill level characters. Like, I don't have to be really good at the game to set up my turret in a good spot and just bang on the hammer all day and still contribute to the game as someone who's new to it. So I think those type of characters need to exist, and they might be overpowered in the hands of some people.
But I think we're
I
talking
think-
strictly competitive.
It says, should
No,
Bastion Torbjorn be banned from Overwatch?
Yeah, he's talking about for just banned from Overwatch, but the competitive banning I think is similar to what they're talking about, what they do for like Heroes of the Storm, where they have two teams build up teams, and then you basically build your team at the start, and then you ban specific things, which doesn't work in Overwatch because you are at that consistent switching of characters where you need to build a counter to whatever they bring you.
Yeah, because otherwise you would ban something. Yeah, I take.
I ban Mercy.
Yeah.
Okay, and then we'll ban Lucio. Good job.
Now, I will
Good job
say-
figuring out a
Super
healer.
fun. Well,
There
you're going
is-
to use Anna?
The only thing interesting about that, and I agree it's a terrible idea, is when you get to the... I mean, no one here plays ultra competitive mode and gets high ranked in Overwatch, but in the high end of Overwatch, you only see the same... There's, 30 characters in Overwatch, or 25 to 30?
23, I think, total.
But only 7 or 8 of them... There's only 8 of them get played in competitive play, so there's a big chart on the percentage of Overwatch players who gets
I
played.
guess so.
So it's always the same. It's always 8 people. So really, you're looking at 12 to 15 people who would never get picked, or they get picked. There's 8 of them are 90% of 95% of the time. And the other ones are the 5%. So the banning would make them. But I mean, they should just make those characters better and not have a banning system.
I have a question.
Yes.
I have to raise my hand to interject. Was that strictly the people who were at the top of the competitive rankings, or overall during season 1? Because the people, because the people who were at the top were the same people, and it was just a massive circle jerk of people who were not losing rank or gaining rank because they were already at the top, and everyone down at the bottom could not rank up well enough. It was not a fun ranking system.
It sucked.
Yeah.
Season one sucked.
So
but
if you
they've
have the
addressed
people
that.
at the top and those are the same characters you're seeing, that would make sense because it's the same people playing.
It was a pretty big number. It was I have the URL somewhere, but it's based on there's a bunch of data that was put in that, and it wasn't just the very top. But I don't think it includes everybody. It was only some portion. It wasn't like the the lower rank competitive people.
And that's
which
what
would
I'm
be
getting
me.
at. I didn't get above 45
Yeah.
because I couldn't. Every time I was myself and another friend, and both of us are really strong players, we would never get put with a team that would be intelligent enough to be like, this is what we need to do to win this match.
Yeah.
There were people who were, day one Anna dropped, they were like, let's play Anna in competitive instead of quick play so we can learn what the fuck she does. It was a very bad experience. Season 1 was very rough.
Well, even just the ranking system. Since I played so infrequently with Mark III dropping halfway through it, if I would never have played a competitive game, my ranking would have been better than what it is now. Yeah. I lose one game and I go down 3 points. It really blew. I'd have to win 4 games to get it to go back up. It really sucked.
The season 2 stuff seems pretty interesting. But it's like, and I also noticed, like, I played the first week of competitive play, and it was the worst. And then I played towards the end; it was a lot better because people were actually playing smarter as teams, and they weren't just. It was interesting when you went from competitive to quick play because you didn't have people weren't rushing points, or they played a more defensive mechanism. It was it was a much more interesting game. But competitive has a problem where if one person drops, whether because they rage quit or they lose connection, no one fills that spot, and then the entire team just drops, and the game is kind of dumb.
Yep.
Yeah, it's just you get no bonus or anything for it.
Heroes of the Storm has that cool fake competitive mode where you play unranked, but it has all the feel of the competitive mode. I almost wish Heroes had that intermediate one where you'd play the system, you'd have the limit one per hero, you'd play a match back and forth, but it didn't have that extra level of the ranking because some people enjoy the system, but like if I have a rank and I have a number, that is everything to me, and it shouldn't be. It's just a number between one and whatever. But if it goes down, I'm less of a person now, and I get mad about that.
Yeah.
It's just this fictional number.
Yep.
It was annoying. When I started off and when I finally broke through that 10 game horribleness or 20 game whatever it
the
was.
slog.
Yeah.
The slog to get through that. I was ranked 48, and I was happy about that. I never saw the sunny side of 48 after that. It was
think
always the ass end, all the way down to like 42.
I came out at 43 because, again, I wasn't with people who were competitively minded, or at least in that sort of game. And it was a struggle to get up to 45 because I definitely dropped to like 30 something.
I'm just. I don't you guys go. I
don't think that Torbjorn and Bastion should be banned because I think they're perfectly acceptable characters.
Mm-hmm.
I think that they are more effective in the hands of an unskilled player, but unskilled players are still going to get, like in War Machine, they're going to get their asses handed to them against a skilled player.
And I love when I'm playing a game, and if I'm playing against a game and there's some like new Bastion player, you just turn a Genji and you can just slaughter the entire game. Or you get someone with a Widowmaker, you get a Widowmaker or a soldier, they just own Torbjorn. Or I mean, there's certain characters
when kill Torbjorn with D.Va.
When people
I let
don't
him shoot me.
But the game is about evolving. I love when someone picks a character and the game turns against them and they're too dumb to switch.
Yep.
It's all because that game is all. I mean, if your team is starting to lose. The best games I play are where I'm playing a game and both teams are constantly switching characters because everyone's trying to answer each person back and forth, and it's great, it's fun. Or if my team is just too stupid and they like, because some matches you start, you have to defend a point, then you have the payload, and certain characters are good at defending but not payload missions, and some people just don't switch, and you're like, thanks for staying on Symmetra, but now that it's moving and now you're useless. I mean, you were great.
That's not true.
Well,
I have effectively played Symmetra and stopped a payload.
She's much stronger on the first part of those.
Sure.
Though. I mean, there's always going to be moments, but percentage-wise, they're going to be much less. I mean, everyone has a good game.
I'm a great Symmetra.
On a defense map, I've always played Torbjorn. I'm usually the top of my thing. I play him well though. When you see me do a play of the game, it's not my turret killing shit. I'm out there killing shit.
I still
generally.
when that game first came out, I'll never get over the little like cartoon somebody made of Torbjorn's play of the game where someone like shoots him in the head and then he's like rolling down off the hill and into a dumpster and then it closes on him and a cat shits on him, but he's still like killing people left and right. That's the best.
That's actually an actual play of the game. Like from the game itself, like on the back of Hanamura, by the bell there, he got killed, fell off, or he's just slowly rolling off as his turret's killing people.
I had a similar play like that with Symmetra where I died and my turrets were killing people, and you just see my dead body on the ground. It's beautiful.
Yeah, it's fun. I just think sometimes it's if people want to play sometimes those other characters, I'll kill them so they can make those choices.
It's fun. It's fun that it's still talked about and being played, unlike Battleborn.
I will always enjoy playing the game. I just cannot find a reason I find reasons to not play it, but I will never find a reason to hate it.
Yeah.
I miss playing Heroes of the Storm sometimes. I'm always playing Overwatch. I can't play both, so I'm just playing Overwatch.
It's an issue.
Yeah,
it's going to be more an issue when we start playing WoW.
I was going to say, I took a little bit of a break to get the feel back into Destiny before Rise of Iron, because I definitely forgot how to play.
When does Destiny 2 come out?
I have no idea. Rise of Iron comes out on September 20th.
I will play Destiny 2. I'll give Destiny 2 a chance.
Yeah, I know. I'm waiting for it.
I love the way that game feels. That game feels just very smooth when you're actually doing all the actions and such. It's just the content that kind of drove out when I first started it.
I had a problem where I've been playing so much Overwatch that when I was playing Destiny, I didn't know what I was doing. I actually pressed down on the D-pad to like wave. I was like, why am I sitting down? Why am I not able to wave? It was very problematic.
All right, Zappity.
Rumble. Do we want to
Any more?
do that one?
There's an
I
The
don't
one
know.
where Nick's trying to make Nathan and Jeremy feel bad.
No.
Huh.
No, yeah, I saw that. It doesn't matter. We have such a revolving cast with this here. I mean, don't matter. We all like ourselves more.
Yep.
Except
I
for
like
G-
me the best. I don't like Brian the
No,
best.
it's all right. I don't like Amanda very much either. I'm just stuck.
But yeah,
I think that's
So,
it.
That's it. So we should get the recommendations.
recommendations.
I'm going to jump on this one first before
Ooh.
Brian does.
Shocking.
I'm going to recommend Jean-Claude Van Johnson.
It's amazing.
It is one of 3 pilots that Amazon is putting out. I guess that's how they're determining on who their next shows are going to be. So it's The Tick, Jean-Claude Van Johnson, and
I love Dick.
I Love Dick.
There
And
may
then
be
the 2
more. I think they
shows.
might have done. I think they do have a larger pilot season, but they start with their comedies first.
Yeah.
But John Claude Van Johnson.
Yes, it is. It is. It's if you like JCVD, which
John
sounds
Claude Van Damme.
yeah,
Van
It's-
Johnson.
Van Johnson. If you like JCVD, where it's more of just him kind of being him, and he doesn't take himself seriously. JCVD is more of a drama than it is a comedy, but this one is a comedy. I like Jean-Claude Van Damme, and he is excellent in this. The first 5 minutes of the movie or the show just sold me. I was done. I was like, I want this now.
Yeah. So
I like
hopefully it
the-
gets picked up.
I liked it more than The Tick, which is odd.
If you have Amazon Prime, watch Jean Claude Van Damme Van Johnson, and then fill out the survey and tell them you love it.
Yeah.
So they make it more of it.
Yeah.
It's we're not going to say anything else about it though, because that'd be ridiculous.
Well, I convinced these 2 to watch it after
Yeah.
this,
Well, there you go.
potentially.
There you go.
It's
Boom.
just a matter of if he's not in severe pain.
I get some ibuprofen.
Just hit him hard. Eventually, he'll pass out.
Just hit
put
his
it on.
other knee.
Yeah.
Someone got a hammer.
Hammer time.
I guess my recommendation is a recommendation to not do, and it's watch.
Don't steal this one from me.
Yeah, you already said it, but it's to not watch Between on Netflix. It's not. We got off the Stranger Things deal, and we're like, let's try another Netflix original. And we watched this thing. It's like government conspiracy, and if anyone thinks that Albinoa Zero is a shark jumping shit show, which I don't think it is that bad. This one is fucking rancid. Like, it's just, oh my god, your dad's dead, but now he's back, and now there's a tiger in the trailer park. Ugh, it's crazy. It's just like, it's just ridiculous. Like, watch the first episode and look at the horrid acting, and then maybe watch up to episode 4. And if you haven't vomited yet, and you just like watching that freak show, keep going. And it just gets worse and worse and worse. And
So you watched the whole series?
no, we
We're on,
have
like,
2
episode
episodes
3
left.
of
So
season 2.
I'm in that horror show.
Season 2?
I'm committed to this.
What the hell's wrong with
Nothing
you?
is worse than
We
being
didn't know
committed to a bad. I've been committed to some bad shows. Like, well, I've watched 7 seasons. I'm going to watch till they end it. Please, God, end it.
It's at that point where we're like, it's so bad, but we need to know how bad it gets.
Yeah, we need to
Oh.
know how it stops.
It sounds like you're living the under the dome train I was living. 'Cause, oh my god, that show is so bad.
So that's my recommendation. Watch it or don't watch it.
Don't watch it.
Have you guys finished Stranger Things then?
Yeah.
Did you
Yeah.
enjoy
It
it?
was fantastic.
Have you watched
Well,
it
I
yet?
have watched all of it. Andy's only watched 2 episodes.
We're watching more on Tuesday.
Has anybody showed you the crazy fan theories that you love so much?
Oh god, no, don't. Shut
Well,
up.
I don't
No.
know what Andy's
You're
why. I
gonna
don't want to.
spoil it for
Yeah,
him.
that's the thing. I saw some, and one of them was interesting. I'm not a fan of fan theories, but yeah.
I don't like fan theories either.
Well, because sometimes there's fan theories, and then it's like, well, yeah, that was what they were implying from the beginning. You're not that smart. It's obviously the undertone of the whole movie, but good job with that fan theory. I won't believe it, but I saw it, so I did believe it because that's what happened.
Agent Smith is the one.
Yeah, some of those things. I swear to God. As long as if someone can put a fan theory out and they have to put their home address, so we can go and deal with them after it.
Yeah,
Just
Jay
slap
and Silent Bob them.
Yeah, Jay and Silent Bob every fan theory, then it'd be allowed.
I'm actually probably going to plan a trip to Australia real soon.
Do you go
And
meet up with Tor?
Go meet up with him so I can talk to him about War Machine all day and all night. I think
That's
that
my
sounds like a really
recommendation.
good
Don't
one.
listen
Yeah,
to Brian talk either.
That's fine. Whatever. I know you all love me. Maybe. When I'm drinking, I'm much more fun.
But you're always drinking.
Not now. I have to. If I started drinking like I normally do and pop as much ibuprofen and naproxen as I am right now, if I so much as pulled a hangnail, I'd probably die.
It is weird. And I don't know what this means, but this is the first time I haven't seen you drink for like ever. Like usually by now you would have had 17 beers in you, which you know is average. But I mean, this is weird. You've gone. I'm surprised you've been passed out from a withdrawal.
Well, now I'm driving Amanda home instead of just myself, so I can't bumper car myself off the guardrails so well.
Fair enough.
Do you have a recommendation?
I am recommendationed out. That
Okay.
was my recommendation. I live a very boring life right now.
I didn't recommend anything.
Yeah, no,
Oh,
we're jumping around.
jumping around.
Yeah.
No, I recommend don't send dick pics. That is my recommendation.
Send them to
Seems
radiofan@gmail.com.
I saw a movie called Don't Breathe. It was pretty good. So I recommend you should see it.
You got to see the movie with the guy who really, 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 really wants to be Cable.
Yeah,
Yeah.
sure.
Mr.
He looks like
Perlman.
Cable. No, it's another actor.
No.
What's it about?
It's a home invasion. Basically, three kids in Detroit are robbing homes, and they rob this. They hear this army vet has a bunch of money stashed in his house, so they break into his house. He's blind, so they break into his house, and things go awry. And now they're having to survive in his house, and he's
It's
like
Home Alone. but
it's
for
Home
adults.
Alone, but with like a blind army vet with issues.
So the story is about the bad guys trying to not die.
Basically,
Okay.
and it gets interesting.
Okay.
There's obviously other elements.
What is that movie that has basically the bad guys killers in the house?
There's a really good movie we saw, which we've recommended before. It's another movie where there's basically people in a home, and they get attacked.
Oh yeah, they have the gal that's fighting.
Yeah,
them.
there's basically someone decides we saw it a couple years ago. I made a bunch of people watch it. It's a home invasion movie where the family's out in the woods in their home and they get attacked by these number of people. But it turns out one of the guests happens to be the daughter of a crazy survivalist, so she kind of turns the tables on the attackers a little bit, and it's actually kind of a cool little twist on the home invasion because some of the family members are being slaughtered, but then she kind of goes Rambo on these people, and you're like, this is awesome. And there's also for some reason there's a huge splur. I think there's I told you to watch an Australian movie a while ago. That's a Housebound.
Yeah.
That's another home invasion movie that's
We watched
really
it.
interesting. I think you both watched. That's a really cool.
It was very neat.
Was that Australian or New Zealand? I forget.
New Zealand.
New Zealand.
Because
Also.
you sent me on this New Zealand bender, and then I watched the zombie movie that you recommended. That was pretty good too.
Yeah, New Zealand makes great movies, and that was such a good twist on Homebound. But I can't think Andy's trying to find it in the thing. But anyway, go see if you like home invasion style movies, and some of them aren't good, but this one's has a massively popular. I saw the trailer and I kind of just moved on with my life, but then the reviews were coming in just really good, and I'll always go see a well-reviewed horror movie because I love horror. I love horror movies, and I will watch. And I do watch a lot of bad ones to sift through them to find the good ones. Because when you're a horror movie fan, you find a good one, you really just latch on to it.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, thank you. Thank you, world, for this good horror movie.
Like Viking metal.
No comment. I don't know. But anyway, that's all I have.
Yep, I'm tapped out.
Tapped out. Oh, Andy's.
I can't find it.
You can't find
my
it.
Google search of home invasion movie girl kills bad guys. That did not have any results.
Is this where we scream for Andy until he shuts it off?
No, I'm gonna.
Is that the
I
podcast?
texted Brian. I was like,
I
Brian,
sent
let
you a
Andy
message.
know
I
to come
sent you a message
upstairs.
saying my phone was dead.
Is
You
it your
said
next?
it was dying.
Is that it? You're next? Maybe that's. I've seen your next. That
That's
might have been.
probably what it is.
It could be it. That's potentially it. I don't know. We're all gonna. Some in the chat.
No, we gotta
Now,
get.
you guys
Google
talk.
We have to wait this.
Keep talking,
Oh,
people.
I'll vamp for a little bit.
I spelled your next with a J and a P and a U.
Sounds like you're
I'll just
spelling like I
talk
spell.
about Lilith 3 for the next 20
Oh
minutes.
God.
Your next.
And
That's-
how
if I put a J,
Fagros
not a
2
K.
absolutely has to have a goddamn serif.
Huh?
Keep talking.
What about a
About
seraph?
what?
Thagrosh 2 just has to have a seraph. Like everything in his army, he has no way to like force project other than his feet for getting up the table further. So like everything in his army
Yes.
threats 10 inches, and that's it.
It is Your Next. He was correct. The movie is Your Next that we're talking
Yeah.
about.
So
That
I lived
was-
through that.
I don't like horror movies. That was a very enjoyable horror movie to watch. I think I would probably like
Can
this
I
other
find
one.
it on Netflix?
Maybe. I love horror movies, and sometimes in a horror movie, the innocent victims are too dumb. And I get that, for some of these slasher type movies or hunt movies, you need them to, you want the hunter to catch the people. So sometimes you have to make mistakes. But making mistakes and all being idiots are two different things. So it's interesting when you have a horror movie where the bad guys and the good guys are all kind of smart. So then it's a more interesting back and forth. Well, the bad guys slowly whittle people down. At least it's interesting. It's maybe there's a group of bad guys, so some of them can die back. So then you have this give and take that makes it more engaging, versus just this all one way. Oh, it's separate or whatever. Although, anyway, I had another thought of the Jean-Claude Van Damme. Everyone one at a time. Sorry.
Damn it! All right.
Bye bye.
Bye.